Hello students, in last class we already discussed that what is self-induction, what is eddy current, what is self-inductance, clear? So today we are going to discuss what is self-inductance of a solenoid. So before that we already know what is self-inductance. Self-inductance is self-induction is the property of an inductor due to which it always tries to oppose the change in current flowing through it by inducing an EMF within it. That is known as self-induction. And self-induction, we know the flux linked with an inductor, the magnetic flux linked with an inductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through it. So from this we can let this implies the magnetic flux equal to some constant L into I. Here L is known as the coefficient of self-inductance, and this can be defined as L equal to the magnetic flux developed or linked within the inductor per unit flow of current. Or we can write as induced EMF E equal to minus d phi by dt. So this implies by differentiating equation 1 we will get what? E equal to minus L into di by dt. So this implies L equal to E divided by minus di by dt. The induced EMF produced per unit rate of decrease in current through the inductor is also known as self-inductance. Clear? So now we are going, and this self-inductance is depend upon the geometry and material of the inductor, not on the flux or the induced EMF produced or the current flowing through the inductor. Clear? So today we are going to calculate, and the unit of this self-inductance is Henry and dimension is M1 L2 T minus 2 A minus 2. So today we are going to discuss what is the self-inductance of an solenoid. So self-inductance of a solenoid. So just draw a solenoid. This is an ideal solenoid. Okay, and the length of the solenoid is L. This is the axis, and the radius of the solenoid is, let's small r, and here the small r is very less than the length of the solenoid, as it's an ideal solenoid. And in case of ideal solenoid, the length is very negligible, very large in comparison to the diameter of the solenoid. And in this solenoid, when we connect it across a external source, it will draw some current I, and due to which there will be an induced EMF produced in it. And as the current I starts to flowing through this solenoid, there will be a magnetic field produced across this solenoid. And due to ideal solenoid, what is the magnetic field produced within the solenoid? The magnetic field produced within the solenoid B is equal to mu naught N into I. Clear? Where this is the magnetic field produced within the solenoid, where N equal to number of turns of solenoid per unit length. Clear? N equal to number of turns of solenoid per unit length. So this is the net magnetic field produced by the solenoid. So now what is the magnetic flux? Hence the magnetic flux linked with 1 turn of the solenoid is, let phi m equal to how much? The area of 1 turn, let be area of the turn will be A, or if the radius is r, the area will be how much? Pi r square into the magnetic field strength mu naught Ni Clear? This is the flux linked with one turn of the solenoid. Area into magnetic field, and the direction will be same, 0, theta will be 0, so cos 0 will be 1. So this will be the area flux linked with one turn. So the net flux, net magnetic flux linked with the solenoid is total number of turns of the solenoid into flux linked with one turn. Here the flux linked with one turn, and what is the total turn? Here N is the number of turns per unit length and L is the length of the solenoid. So the total turn, here we can write total turn of solenoid, capital N equal to total length into turns per unit length. Clear? So the net flux phi m net equal to capital N into phi m, total turn into flux linked with one turn. So this implies phi m net equal to mu naught n I pi r square n into L. Clear? So from this we will get let this be equation 3. What we know, for an inductor, as solenoid is also inductor, so for an inductor the magnetic flux equal to L into I. This is equation 4. Comparing 3 and 4, we get, if we are comparing these two, equation 3 and 4, in terms of L, phi is phi net, in terms of I, this will be I, and here what is L? Except I, the remaining portion, this much, is known as what? L. L equal to mu naught n square pi r square L. Okay, let it be small l, otherwise you will get confused. This is small l. So here it will be n into small l, length. The length will be small l, and this is the self inductance large L. This is self inductance capital L. This is the length of solenoid small l. So this is the expression for self inductance of a solenoid. And here what is pi r square L? Pi r square is the area, L is the length. So pi r square L is the volume of the solenoid. So the self inductance L of a solenoid can be written as mu naught n square into volume of the solenoid. Clear? What is n square? The number of turns per unit length. What is mu naught? This is the permeability of the medium within which the solenoid is present, and pi r square L is the volume. That means the self inductance of the solenoid is depending upon its dimension, number of turns, and the medium within which it is placed. Clear? So if we increase the number of turns, the self inductance will increase. If we change the permeability of the medium, the self inductance will increase. If we will change the radius or length or the volume or the dimension of this solenoid, the self inductance will also get changed. So you have to remember this formula and this formula. Clear? So from this we can get the self inductance of a solenoid can be increased by increasing its length, radius, number of turns and core used inside it. This is referred to the core. So if the solenoid has some material of permeability mu m, then some material of permeability mu m as core. Here the core is air. If the solenoid has some material of permeability mu m as core, the self inductance L will become how much? Mu m square into volume, or this implies you can get the self inductance will be mu r into mu naught n square into volume of the solenoid. Clear? Okay. This is the permeability of the material used as the core within the solenoid. So the self inductance will become mu m n square into volume, or in place of permeability of the medium we can write the relative permeability into the permeability of free space into n square into volume. So this is the expression for what? Self inductance. It depends upon length, radius, number of turns and core used inside it. Clear? So this is about what? The self inductance of a solenoid. Clear? It's have same unit as that of Henry. Okay. So now let us discuss energy stored in an inductor or a solenoid. Energy stored in an inductor. Okay, inductor means it's simply a solenoid. So here we are considering a solenoid which is attached with a battery of potential V, due to which current I starts to flowing through it, and as this is the length, this is small l and the radius b small r. So as I starts to flowing through this inductor, it will produce an EMF due to Lenz's law, according to Lenz's law, which will try to oppose the cause in change in magnetic flux. The phenomena is known as self-induction, and due to self-induction, what is the value of induced EMF? We already know the induced EMF E equal to minus L into di by dt. What is E? E is the self-inductance of the solenoid, and E is the induced EMF which is produced due to flow of current to oppose this change in current. Clear? As current starts to flow through this inductor, an EMF is induced within it by itself according to the phenomena of self-induction, and the induced EMF will be this much, which is depends upon the self-inductance of the inductor and the rate of change in electric current flowing through it, and it always tries to oppose what? The change in current. Clear? That's why the external source which tries to flow the current I within this inductor has to do some work to overcome this opposition. That's why the minimum value of this external source to allow a current flowing through this inductor by overcoming the opposition offered by the inductor must be equal to how much? By magnitude this much and in direction opposite to this. As this is the opposition offered by this inductor to oppose the flow of current, So the external source which is attached to this inductor must have a capacity to provide an energy of this much amount in opposite direction of this one, so that the current can overcome the opposition. So here V will be how much? Negative of E, that is L into di by dt. This is the value of the external source which is used to flow current through it. So what will be the amount of work done by this external source to allow a very small amount of charge, because as there is a opposition, that's why this is the minimum amount of energy or potential used in this circuit to overcome this opposition. So what is the work done by this external source to sending a small amount of charge through this inductor? Let dW be the work done by the external source to send dq amount of charge through the inductor. Clear? This implies what is the value of dW? dW equal to dq into potential V. So this implies you can write dW equal to dq into, in place of V I can write L into di by dt. So this implies what is the amount of work done by sending a dq amount of charge through this inductor will be equal to L into dq by dt. By rearranging this I can write like this. So it will become dW equal to L into, what is dq by dt? Rate of change of or rate of flow of charge through the inductor is current I into di. It will be the small amount of work done by sending dq amount of charge. If I am trying to send, this is the maximum current I naught which is flowing through this inductor. So by flowing I naught amount of current, I have to do the maximum amount of work done, and that amount of work done by this external source to sending I naught amount of current through this inductor will be stored within this inductor as magnetic energy. Clear? So now we can calculate the total amount of work done by sending I naught amount of current. Let it be equation 1. So now the total work done by the external source to send I naught current through the inductor will be how much? By integrating this one, dW from 0 to net work done W will be equal to Li di, current flows from 0 to maximum I naught. So this net work done W equal to L constant, taking it outside, I di integration will be I square by 2, limit from 0 to I naught. Clear? So this will become how much? So this implies the net work done W equal to half L I naught square, equation 2. And this amount of work done by the external agent will be stored within this inductor as what? Magnetic energy. This amount of work by external source is stored as magnetic energy in the inductor. So what will be the value of magnetic energy stored in the inductor? Half L I naught square. Clear? This is an important formula and expression for your examination purpose and for numerical also. This is the amount of energy stored within an inductor due to flow of current within it. as due to self induction it tries to oppose, so the external source have to do some work against the opposition. That's why the external work is converted into energy or potential energy, which is stored within this inductor in form of magnetic energy. Clear? Which is equal to half L I naught square. I naught is the maximum current flowing through this inductor and L is the self inductance of this inductor. Okay. So now we can calculate the energy density. This is the energy of an inductor. So what will be the value of energy density? You have to remember this formula. So for a solenoid, B equal to how much? Mu naught Ni. N is the number of turns per unit length, I is the current flowing through it, and this is the permeability of the core. So from this we will get I for a solenoid equal to B divided by mu naught N. Okay, and the self inductance of a solenoid L equal to mu naught N square into volume. This is the self inductance of a solenoid. Clear? So let it be equation 2, 3. Using 2 and 3 at this place, we will get what? The energy equal to half, in place of L we can add mu naught N square into volume. In place of I naught square I can write B square divided by mu naught square N square. Okay. So this will become half, mu will get cancelled, N square will get cancelled, B square into volume divided by mu naught equal to U. Clear? Half mu naught square, one mu will get cancelled, N square will get cancelled. Here is the volume of the solenoid into B square. So half B square by mu naught into volume equal to energy. So this implies U divided by volume equal to half B square by mu naught. This implies what is energy per volume? It is energy density. Energy density equal to half B square by mu naught. You have to remember this formula. This is the energy density of a solenoid, which is equal to half B square by mu naught, or energy per unit volume, that is known as what? Energy density of a solenoid. And this is the energy stored in an inductor or simply a solenoid. Clear? Okay, so now let's discuss what is combination of inductors. As we already discussed in electrostatic, combination of capacitors and resistors. Now here we will discuss combination of inductors. First, let in series combination. So what is series? When two inductors are connected back to back. So let here two inductors are connected in a circuit back to back. This is inductance L1, this is of inductance L2. So here is 2 point terminals A and B. So as these two inductors are connected in a chain or back to back, the current flowing through each inductor will be same, that is I. So the rate of change of current will be same, and if the potential difference across this is E1 and due to conductor 2 is E2, so here we can write E1 equal to minus L1 into di by dt. Similarly E2 will be equal to how much? Minus L2 into di by dt. According to self induction, the induced EMF across this inductor will be the rate of change of current into self inductance. So as the current, same current flowing through both the inductors, so the rate of change of current in both the inductor will be same, and as the inductance is different, the induced EMF across these two will be different. And as these two inductors are connected in series, so E net across A and B will be how much? E net equal to E1 plus E2. As these two are connected in series, the potential difference across this inductor and across the inductor 2 will be same as that of the combination or sum of these two potential difference. Those will be across A and B. This can be written as net E will be written as, this will be AL self inductance net into di by dt, which is equal to minus L1 into di by dt minus L2 into di by dt. Clear? As the rate of change of current in both will be same. So from this di by dt from both side will get cancelled and negative sign will get cancelled. So what is L net? L net equal to L1 plus L2. So this is the relation for inductors of inductance L1 and L2 connected in series. If there are n number of inductors connected in series, then L net will be equal to L1 plus L2 plus L3 up to Ln. If n number of inductors are connected in series, this is same as that of case in resistances connected in series. Okay, so now let's discuss what will be happening in parallel combination. You have to remember this formula for solving numericals, the same as that of case of resistor and opposite to that of capacitor. So in parallel combination, so here are two inductors connected in parallel combination to each other. So if current I is flowing through this circuit, it will divided into here I1 and I2. Let this is be L1 and L2. So as according to this circuit, we can add I equal to I1 plus I2, because this is connected in parallel combination. So net current entering will be equal to I1 plus I2 if I am applying the Kirchhoff's junction rule at this point. So differentiating both sides with respect to time, what we will get? Di by dt, the rate of change of total current, will be equal to the sum of change in current I1 plus the sum of rate of change in current I2. Clear? Let it be equation 1. But as L1 and L2 are in parallel, so potential difference across L1, that is E1, equal to potential difference across L2, that is E2, will be equal to the potential difference across this circuit E net, because in parallel combination net potential difference will be same. But what is E net? E net will minus L net into di by dt, net inductance of the complete system into total change in current. So from this we will get this implies what is di by dt, it is minus E net by L net. Clear? So similarly we can write di1 by dt equal to minus E1 by L1, di2 by dt will be minus E2 by L2. Clear? As net rate of change of current will net EMF by net inductance. Similarly, rate of change of current in I1 will L1 will be E1 by L1 and in L2 will be E2 by L2. But from here we get E1, E2 all are equal to E net. So these three can be written as, by using these three relation here we will get what? In place of di by dt I can write minus E net by L net, in di1 by dt minus E1 by L1 minus E2 by L2. But E1, E2, E net all are same, get cancel, negative sign also get cancel. So this implies you will get 1 by L net equal to 1 by L1 plus 1 by L2. This is the relation for equivalent inductance, self inductance of inductors in parallel combination. Clear? You have to remember this, that is same as that of resistors in parallel. So for n number of resistors, for n number of inductors, 1 by L net equal to 1 by L1 plus 1 by L2 plus up to 1 by Ln. Clear? Okay, so these are the formulas for calculating equivalent inductance when inductors are connected in series and in parallel. You have to remember this relation to solve numericals. These are the same case in type of resistors connected in series and parallel. So this is all about what is self-inductor, inductance, what is the coefficient of self-inductance, how energy stored in an inductor due to opposition by the cause of self-induction, what is the energy density of an solenoid, what is the self-inductance of an solenoid, and how equivalent inductance of inductors can be calculated in combination of inductors. Okay, clear? Next class we will discuss further. Thank you.